the grassy pond issue. I have a dog. I walk my dog at the 4-H. I walk them all through the trails and stuff. I go to grassy pond quite frequently, and I'd say over the last month and a half, we noticed that more and more wood debris, and I'm not talking sticks, I'm talking logs, everything, are lined up like a trail along there. I've asked people that I run into if they know anybody that's done it. We did run into a Joyce Carpenter who said she confronted the individual and let him know that it's actually against the law to do that. It's not only aesthetically stupid looking, it's also dangerous. Some of the logs have sticks coming up where the limbs are broken off and so forth, some very sharp sticks. I've seen kids riding mountain bikes over there, not that frequently, but I have seen them riding their bikes over there. If they ever fell on it, also, you know, I'm 77, I've seen people my age over there can barely walk, and I've actually seen people fall down and so forth. So it's not only unsightly and stupid looking, and it's kind of ruining the aesthetics of a nice nature walk.
Right.
But it's also kind of dangerous.
Can we put a temporary sign?
Yeah.
Parking lot?
I'm serious, I'm serious, you know, be alerted, this is illegal, you know, offenders will be prosecuted.
Do not continue
Something
doing
to
it.
show that.
Yeah, I was gonna actually put something up there myself, because you got a nice board. Now, I can see the bench you
I can
had.
certainly do that, yeah.
I did
Yeah,
see
but I
the-
think if you do that, and then we could, you know, you can tell us again in a couple of weeks that it stopped, and then we
Yeah.
can figure out.
Well, we've actually tossed some of the stuff that looks dangerous off into the woods a little bit, because, I mean, I hate to see somebody fall on it and, you
Wonder who
know,
thinks
puncture
they're doing a
themselves.
great
so.
job.
But I did see the bench that they installed, it's very nice.
That's right. Okay,
Thank
thank
you.
you. Anything else open forum from the audience? Okay, seeing nothing else, we're going to move on to our 7:35 PM agenda item, which is the continuation of Greystone Pond. The applicant has requested a continuance without discussion to the September 22nd meeting, and what time on that? Let's make that at 8:10.
So moved.
Second. All in favor, raise your hands. Aye. Opposed? None. Okay, great. There's water in Greystone, by the way, so I don't know if you saw the pictures.
Yeah, we saw the pictures, yeah, we saw the.
Water everywhere.
Yes, there's water. Okay, discussion item 736, request for extension permit for 3 years for SCG Development Partners, 60 Littleton Road. That's the senior housing project. So can we have a motion to that effect?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Proposed Girl Scout Gold Award Project, actor Dean Da Silva Trail, Veronica Chang. Come on up, Veronica. Welcome.
Hi, I'm Veronica. So I have a proposal for the footbridge on the Acre Da Silva Trail for my Girl Scout Gold Award project, which is the highest award a Girl Scout can earn. This is the map reference for where I want to put the footbridge. Like I said, it was on the Acre Da Silva Trail, which is right across the entrance from East Boston Camps, and it will be on the end loop of the trail. So the red triangle right there is where I want to put the footbridge, and it will just be bordering the Stony Brook. It is fairly close to a footbridge made a few years ago by an Eagle Scout. However, it is still very flooded there, and I feel like it would be a lot more traversable with another footbridge. So as you can see, there are some pictures. It's very flooded, especially since this past year. In the middle picture, you can actually see the footbridge in the background of the picture. And in the third picture, it's just a different angle. It might be a little bit dark. This was taken about a month ago, so it's still fairly new. As you can see, the gap's about 10 feet long. So, yeah. So this is the rough design so far. I'm not going to go through all the details, but it's going to be around 10, 12 feet long, probably on 12 feet long right now. That's what it's looking like. Yeah, and then I think there's one more slide. So some additional information. As part of my project, I'm hoping to put QR codes around the trail as well, just to educate people maybe about some interesting facts and sites that they could see around the trail. The estimated cost is around $500, and I'm hoping to get started as soon as it gets approved, so hopefully by late September and ending around early December.
Okay, so you'll have to come back to us at our September 22nd meeting for a filing,
Okay?
right?
Yeah.
Have you talked to her about it?
I've sent her the information, and we can make
Okay.
sure she gets on.
Okay, yeah, so, Jim?
What are your plans for the QR codes? Are they going to go link to a website that's got to be maintained, or are they going to be self-contained data that you call it up, you get the information, and that's it? Doesn't go?
I'm hoping on building a website as well that'll connect to.
That's going to be maintained forever by who?
So I was hoping to either contact someone, like either like the commission or the trust, which would maintain it. If not, then I'll find somebody else to maintain it.
Okay.
Yeah.
If you work on that aspect of it, that'd be great.
Yeah.
So this is preliminary, so she just needs our approval. to proceed
Yeah,
with
this is mainly
project.
for the,
So you want a motion to that effect?
Yeah, can I?
So moved.
Okay, all in favor of this project?
Aye.
All opposed?
There you go.
It's unanimous? Thank you.
cool, thank you very much.
Thank you.
Okay, we're going to move on to our 7:40 agenda item, which is a public hearing for KC Build LLC, 19 Francis Road. It's an IDA. We're going to open and continue this. So if you want to read the,
Down the street.
Under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, the Westford's non-zoning wetlands bylaw, Chapter 171, the Westford Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 25th, 2021 at 7:40 PM in Meeting Room 201 at Town Hall, 55 Main Street, on the request for determination of applicability application of KC Building LLC for the construction of a 24 by 24 garage, 8 by 10 deck, and relocation of a portion of the driveway within 100 feet of jurisdictional wetland at 19 Francis Hill Road.
okay, the applicant has requested continuation of this to our next meeting. And so can I have a motion to continue this to our September 22nd meeting at, let's make it 8:20?
So moved.
Second.
That's not the next meeting.
Which meeting?
Our next meeting is September 22nd.
No,
September 8th.
It's the 8th, yeah.
There's no meeting on the 8th.
Yeah, it's no meeting on the 8th.
It's Rosh Hashanah.
Yeah, Rosh Hashanah.
Oh, okay.
Okay.
All
I
right,
like the meeting.
all right.
Yeehaw.
Okay. So can I have a motion? Did I have a
So
motion?
moved.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
All opposed?
Thanks for the night off.
Unanimous? So that's at
Aye.
8:20? Yeah. Pat, you got that?
You can come pray with her.
Okay.
Why they continue?
So did everybody have a chance to review the citizens petition to regulate motorboats on Kai's Pond?
Not the motor ones?
Yeah, the second one corrected the problem that we'd seen, whatever, 6 or 8 months ago. My only concern is the proponent indicated they weren't going to be here
Yep.
tonight, so I had some questions on it, like, are there any homeowners on the pond right now that have motorboats that they use on the pond? And anything planned for that?
Yeah.
Think those kind
Well,
of...
we know there are people that have
I would assume so, questions and that kind of aspect, but...
Okay, so we continue this to September 22nd, right? Still be before town meeting.
Okay.
Okay, it's just a discussion item. Can we ratify this emergency certificate at 15 Wilson Farm Road?
Yes.
Any questions on it?
This was a septic system repair, and
You want a motion to that effect?
Yep.
So move.
Second?
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? It's unanimous. Okay, we'll move on to our 7:45 agenda item, which is a continuation of a public hearing for Franklin, 31 Bridgesheet. Chris, how are you?
Very well, and yourself?
Good.
We got the truck frame out of the wetlands area.
You did?
Yes.
Awesome.
Yeah, so then we pulled out another 2-3 pallets worth of stuff, so it's, the drip, drip, drip in the faucet. We'll fill it up sooner or later, but we're
Okay.
getting there.
That's good news.
So, yeah, the frame is out. It's still sitting in the parking lot, but
Awesome.
I gotta get it over the recycling guys this
Okay.
coming week.
All right.
So-
and have you made any progress with DEP in getting a file number?
I've got the plans, I'm just gonna walk it down, I'm gonna drive it down there to Wilmington and wait till I get a number. I just, I haven't, since the last time I was up in front of you, I haven't mailed anything, so if that's what you're asking, no, I didn't.
Yeah, I mean, we're just gonna need that,
Yeah.
at some, we need
Yeah, at some
to get
point,
that to
to,
keep
we
the
can close this
progress
out. Yep, and, Matt, I have, like oil barrel retention things in case there's leakage. Can I put that in that trailer that you wanted moved? I'm still gonna try to see if that container that you sent me a picture of.
The forestry container,
Yeah.
forest companies.
Would that work if I find it too difficult to move that container? Put those, again, it's, it's about 6 inches high, it's got grates, so it's absorbed,
okay.
It's oil spillage things.
I mean, I think in the short term, yes.
Okay,
I think that, that's a good.
That's a good
stopgap.
stopgap.
But
Okay.
again, we need to, making sure that's maintained, making sure there isn't,
yeah, no.
it's gonna take a while to fill up, 6 inches by a pallet.
Yeah.
But, we don't want, that's another, it's another thing that just has to be kept an eye on then.
Okay.
So,
I'll still, again, I haven't been able to get a hold of, since you told me you wanted that moved, I made a couple of calls into that tenant, and he hasn't got back to me, so I think he's on vacation. So, we'll try to get it moved for the next meeting, which I'm sure I'm up for.
You'll be on, yeah. You still have the big tank there, that big tank that's sitting next to the brook? Plastic
No, I didn't get that one. That one's empty, I'll just get that hauled out.
that haul all the way.
Yep.
And don't forget, you gotta start working on snow plowing for the winter, where it's all gonna go.
The snow storage plan.
Right.
Yeah.
I have the snow storage plan, that was part of you have
It
it
is?
part of the plan there.
Okay.
It was, Carl had agreed to it. Essentially, it was, we gotta put some berries.
I'll have to look,
I'll
I have the file.
Yeah, I designated snow storage areas, and she was amenable to it. Let's say, she was amenable to it at the
Okay.
time.
We just haven't seen it, so.
Yeah, okay, it's in the plan.
Okay.
All right.
Sounds good. So we'll put you on for another month on our September 22nd meeting at 8:30.
Cool.
Have a motion to that effect?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous.
Thank you.
Okay, thanks, Chris.
See you next month.
What can we do next? How about tree removal and replacement?
Yeah, that's the, Jim brought up, there are a couple oaks that the highway had removed previously during the summer within the right of way, and we're looking to get some form of planting, some form of mechanism to prevent further encroachment by the neighbor, and B, kind of just annexation, I think is the.
We could put in bushes, doesn't have to be replacement trees.
Yeah,
but-
the highway, the public works director has been out on bereavement leave for the last couple of weeks, so I've been putting in phone calls to somebody who hasn't been listening to him, and so when he gets back, I'll certainly try and catch his ear and see what we can do to get something planted there.
Okay. Request for a certificate of compliance, Wazinski, 28 Burnell.
So this was a.
Oh, here they are.
I was looking back through the document management system on the town's website. There was an order of conditions that was issued by the commission in 1988 for the repair of the retaining wall, and as just a matter of procedure to clear it, so we have so there aren't any open, we only have one open order of conditions, the next project, or the project before the commission later this evening. That was my ultimate goal for that, was to, I went out, the retaining wall looks to be in good shape, and I recommend the commission issue the order, certificate of compliance for this.
Okay. Any other comments?
That retaining wall was put in 10 years before we purchased it.
Yeah, I'm not surprised, yeah. Okay. Can I have a motion to approve this certificate of
moved.
compliance?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Okay, that part's all set.
Okay.
We're going to get to the rest of you a little later.
Later.
Yep, okay.
Okay.
We're up and out of here?
We'll be back.
We'll be back. Okay, yeah. Okay, we're going to move on to our 7:50 PM public hearing for George Allen and Sons Constructions, 22 Griffin Road, subdivision 334-1769.
Under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Westford's non-zoning wetlands chapter, bylaw Chapter 171, the Westford Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 25th, 2021, at 7:55 PM in Meeting Room 201 at Town Hall, 55 Main Street, on the notice of intent application of George Allen and Son Construction Incorporated for the demolition of existing structures and construction of a road, Cloverleaf Lane, 5 single-family dwellings, utilities, and associated site improvements within 100 feet of a jurisdictional wetland at 22 Griffin Road.
Is the applicant here?
Okay.
Doug, I saw Doug.
Are they in the,
But we can't open it. It's not here.
Do we have the cards?
We
yes,
get
we
the phone
have,
cards.
we
Do you
received.
have the cards?
Well,
I can open
we
it.
just opened it, we can continue it.
Right, but he's got to be here.
Yeah,
You know,
I'm not gonna-
discussion.
Of course.
Do it without him.
I don't know, I saw Doug Shane, I don't know if Doug's the lawyer.
You found
Gee, we thought we were going to get out early tonight.
Got my mask.
Good man.
Good evening. Have you guys read the?
Yes, we have.
I'm sorry. Like I said, I had to run out and get my mask, and I'm also looking for my engineer. But good evening. It's been a while. Nice to see you all.
Yep.
Hey, Brett, you can wait.
Good evening. Douglas DeShane from Finneran and Nicholson, representing George Allen and Son Construction, Inc. Hopefully within a minute, my engineer, Steve Dresser, from Dresser Williams and Way, Inc., will be here to provide the technical part of presentation this evening. But as you can see from the plan, this is a 5-lot subdivision. It's located on a 9.94 acre site. It's, some of you may know, it's formerly the site of the Westford Riding Academy. We have opened our public hearing with the planning board in order to run our permits in parallel. So should there be any changes during the planning board process or during this process, we can make sure that both boards are brought up to speed. So we try to permit these in parallel. So as I said, we have opened our public hearing with the planning board. The town engineers have taken the drainage and stormwater management proposal under review, and they are currently doing a review of that stormwater report for adherence to the stormwater regulations. The site, as I said, it's on 9.94 acres at 22 Griffin Road. And there is an existing home. There are 3 barns and, of course, a number of open areas, riding areas that have been previously disturbed. As a result of that, there is, as I understand, and again, Mr. Dresser can verify, but there is very clearing of vegetation necessary to develop this project. There may be some spot cutting, but for the most part, if any of you are familiar with the site or will be at a site walk, it's pretty wide open today. So, as you can see, we do have wetlands along the, mostly along the, what is the eastern border. North is to the right here. So as you can see, there's a bordering vegetated wetland along the bottom of the plan, which is the easterly side. There you go, thank you very much. And then we do have another smaller, hey Steve. Then we do have a smaller wetland up in the northwesterly area of the site. You have good timing, Steve. I was
I
just
guess
done
so.
with my presentation.
Right on time, huh?
I did want to mention who delineated the wetlands.
That was Norse Environmental.
The wetlands were delineated by Norris Environmental, and Steve Dresser's company then surveyed and plotted them on the plan, so they are reflected in this plan. In designing the project, we have adhered to local wetlands regulations. As you can see, we have held strong 50-foot no disturb. Our houses are 75 feet back, and then all of our septic components are outside the 100-foot buffer. So we have tried to adhere to those regulations. And Steve, I was mentioning that because of the former use of this, there's really very little cutting of mature trees or vegetation.
That's correct.
There's maybe a couple little spot areas, but for the most part, it's pretty wide open. So, Steve, I've given them a quick introduction. If you could just take a moment to walk through sort of the highlights of the stormwater plan. I have mentioned that it is under review by the town engineers and as part of the planning board process. So with that, Mr. Dresser.
Steve Dresser, Dresser Williamson Way. The drainage system is, everything goes downhill. The road goes from Griffin Road to the back. It's downhill, so it runs, it's gutter flow that goes into a forebay that's in the cul-de-sac, which is controlled by an outlet control structure, and then crosses as it overflows storms. It will flow into an infiltration basin, kind of at the bottom middle of your screen there. It's in full compliance with Mass Stormwater standards, and as Doug mentioned, it's currently under review by the engineering department. We eagerly await that review and look forward to working with them to move the project forward. One thing, I don't know if you mentioned the potential water.
No, I did not.
Okay, we have, it's serviced by wells at this point, but we did meet with the Water Commission today to try and see if we can work something out to extend a water main from Old Lowell Road through the project out to Griffin Road. It won't go beyond Griffin Road, but it'll be an extension that would allow future expansion of the water system into this area. So there's potential that that's going to be a revision on the plan.
However, we did design it with wells and septics, and we can meet all of the rules and regulations with that respect. We have committed, even if we're not able to put together an agreement with the water department to mutually extend the water line from Old Lowell Road, my clients have committed to provide them an easement, correct?
Yes.
In any event that would run from Lowell Road to Griffin Road, so that if it can't be done now, at least there will be an opportunity in the future. The easement will be in place. So we're hoping to accomplish it now. It would be great to be able to do that. Not only would it benefit the water department, but it would allow the homes to have town water, which is always beneficial on everyone's part. So we're working on that. We will let you know as that progresses. Do you have anything else? No. With that, we're happy to answer any questions. I suspect the commission may want to come out and take a look. But it's pretty straightforward, conventional 5-lot subdivision.
Questions? Margaret?
Yeah, the first one that I noticed is because it's not an open space residential, the detention basin is actually part of a homeowner's property, and actually it looks like part of it is on an adjacent parcel. And I'm wondering, what are the responsibilities of the homeowner in terms of if they decide to use it for dumping yard waste or whatever, is what is being put in
Presumably
place
there'd be an order of conditions that wouldn't allow that. There's also an operation and maintenance manual that was part of the submittal that
But how is that, so that's something that somebody is going to be responsible for passing on to, from homeowner to make sure that this feature is is maintained in perpetuity the way it's supposed to function?
No, that won't fall on the individual lot owner. The two lots on which there's a portion of this basin, there will be easements created. Those easements will be to the benefit of the town and to the homeowners association. Where this is going to be private roadway, there will be a homeowners association that will accept responsibility for the maintenance, plowing of the roadway, and the operation and maintenance of the drainage structures and basin. That's usually, that's part of the homeowners association. It is a requirement under the planning board approval that while it's a private road, it's the responsibility of the homeowners to maintain that. We will set up a homeowners association, that'll all be funded, you know, and so the homeowners association as a whole will be responsible for that, and all of the homeowners coming in here, when they purchase, they'll be notified of that. It'll all be in
Okay, so
there. No personal liability for that one particular.
Well, let me ask.
Other than the fact that the lot is an easement on their property, and they have to understand that.
So where have we done this? I'm just trying to think. I know what you're saying, because it's like, okay, I'm a homeowner, I've got this.
At Churchill Court, where both ends of the drainage feature are used as composting bins. That's where all their yard waste gets dumped.
Just on the hill.
Yeah, I know, and I'm
Yeah,
just.
It just it sounds really great, but it's like, who's the execution? How is it going to be put in place, and how is it going to continue to function the way it needs to function?
Through legal documents.
There's a homeowners association.
And to be quite honest, this has been the situation in every private road subdivision that I've done in town. Hartford Road, the Fletcher one years ago, the KMR project that we just approved off of Hartford Road, private road where the drainage is part of the homeowners association.
But it's not
No, but
part
it's
of a homeowner's lot.
Property. It's not on their property.
Yes, there's an easement, but it's in what a homeowner would say, this is my property, I maybe can do what I want with it.
Yeah,
And we're running into that.
Yeah.
well, that's typical though, and we don't usually create separate lots for the drainage structures for private roadways. They're always integrated.
Usually it's on a common lot, though, I thought, and not on an individual lot.
Well, who would be responsible for the common land? Why is that in?
The homeowners association would be, but in this case, the homeowners association is still governing what's happening here supposedly, but it's on an individual's lot
But there'd be an
versus
easement-
a
there'd be an
common
easement
lot.
that carries the weight of,
Okay, so the easement would give the homeowners association the teeth to make stuff happen.
The legal help.
Best, and in fact, there's usually a requirement under the planning board project that in the event the homeowners association doesn't fulfill its obligations to maintain this, the town can step in and do it and then charge the association. That, we've never seen that happen, but the planning board likes to set it up that way, so if there is an emergency, the town's not stuck holding the bag.
I mean, because this guy's got his driveway coming in, and then he's got this detention feature here. And I'm just wondering, is he going to be looking to do additional plantings and other things and beautification efforts that are going to?
We will have to do that, Eric, as part of the approvals with the planning
No,
board.
but
They're gonna require that we-
homeowners like to
that
do
we
that as
fence-
well.
Spelled out, it
That
has
we-
to be spelled out,
Yeah.
this land cannot be used.
Oh, it, without question, and when someone comes to look at that house, that's all provided as a written notice to them, it's in the title of the property, I mean, it's as strong legally as it.
I know, but all I can say to that is, you know, like when we have lands that are clearly identified as CR, and folks continue, I mean, you can say there are legal things in place to document the way things are supposed to be. Even with that in place, folks still tend to do what they want. And that's just the reality.
Yeah,
Well,
So that's kind of what you're speaking to.
yeah, and so basically, it's, there's still the homeowners association, and the responsibility will sit with them to make sure that this feature stays functioning.
And if it doesn't, then then it's the town's legal recourse, but then it's a legal thing.
Yeah.
And I just wish we could set up things such that we would be able not to have to be in a situation like that, that we would have planned such that that scenario would not occur.
The other point I noticed on lots 3 and lot 5 especially, but a lot of places, there's a 50-foot no disturb, and, Jim, help me if I'm wrong, we usually ask for markers along the 50-foot
I
to
was
make
gonna
sure
mention
that
that.
people
Exact same thing, yeah.
know that they can't, because in a couple of places, there's like, 15, 20 feet between the corner of the house and the woods, and if people decide they don't want trees close to their house, or they want to have their lawn there, then we start dealing with people deciding
We'll go beyond.
to extend their lawn into those areas, so.
Yeah, isn't there any way, especially on lot 3, I mean, you've got 25 feet of backyard there, that's all he's got. I mean, can't you move the house forward up towards the end of the cul-de-sac?
No, there's a 50-foot setback requirement. That's the minimum requirement.
Yeah, it's just very little backyard there.
But we have no problem putting markers at the,
Yeah, we assumed that would be a requirement.
Okay, and so basically wherever the clearing is coming to the 50-foot no disturb, we want that demarcated so that people have.
Aren't maintaining beyond that 50-foot boundary.
Especially in
yeah.
areas where it's open like this, it just invites expansion.
Yeah, they'll just keep mowing.
Up to and beyond the wetlands, yeah.
Any other comments from the commission right now?
So this detention basin outflows into this other detention feature, retention feature?
it's what's called a sediment forebay, so it's the initial treatment. It has some capacity as a detention basin, but that's not really what it's designed for. It's like a pre-treatment facility. And then-
So it's coming into here first and then dumping into here?
Correct.
Okay. So they'll just come up to the end here and somehow clean this sediment forebay out from time to time? Is that the plan?
We actually submitted as part of our drainage, the O&M plan that calls for all the periodic maintenance yearly, and that'll be a requirement. The planning board will put that in as a requirement of the legal documents for the homeowners association, so that the homeowners association will have to follow that schedule of cleaning it out. And again, that schedule of maintenance is not only in the O&M plan, but it's reviewed and approved by the town engineers.
The Mass Stormwater standards dictate what that kind of maintenance schedule is for all the BMPs.
I know you're working with the town in terms of getting a water line through. Just kind of quick glance, lot 5, the well's outside of the erosion controls.
Yeah, I would have to.
Just, again, we'll want to see if it ends up being.
If we do end up coming to an agreement with the water main, just so you know, it will be still 50 feet. We'll
Jim,
be able to do that and
Why
maintain.
couldn't they just take this basin and
Setback
stick it
to the
over
wetlands.
here on this lot?
Make it a common.
So
line.
if
Yeah, on the common
the
land.
approval
I'd prefer
to run the
that way.
water line down from Old Road Road comes through, then all of these well locations on the plan go away.
Correct.
Okay.
And there's a cistern too that will go away as well.
So Doug, there's no way that this detention feature here can go on the common land?
There is no problem.
There is no common land.
So what is this lot then? Next to the,
Center
you know,
of the
where the portion of the detention,
All the same.
That's lot 1, 2, 3.
okay?
3, 5.
I don't have that marked on.
Lot 3 is a expansive lot. You can see it goes,
I think it's 5.
Yeah, I think it's
It's
5.
I'm sorry,
5.
it's a long way without my glasses. You can see it's an expansive lot. It goes all the way to the back and all the way to the boundary here and then to the cul-de-sac.
True, but it just seemed like if there was an opportunity to put it down on lot 5 somewhere, it wouldn't be right adjacent to, like lot 4, the detention basin is adjacent to the driveway. And I just thought maybe, you know, there was more room on lot 5 than lot 4 for the detention feature.
There is, Eric, but we would then have to go within the 50-foot no disturb. We've maintained that for our drainage.
No, I get that. I didn't know if there was a way to thin it, stretch it, make it work.
We can look at it, but, and if the commission thinks it would be a benefit to move it and would allow for some intrusion in the 50, that would help allow us some flexibility to move it. No?
Yeah, still gonna be on a lot.
Yeah.
Someone's still gonna be on a
I get,
private lot.
right, it just wouldn't
No
be
matter
so
where we put it.
close to the detention, the driveway. But just to address that question, we'll probably likely be required to put a small fence around that detention basin so that, no kids or critters get caught in there. And then usually what we do is, the fence will go on the crest of the basin, and then on the home side, you plant a row of arborvitaes or some other greenery so that the people are sort of looking at a green wall instead of the fence. So, and that will also, prevent anyone from literally dumping anything. They have to go over the fence. I don't know. I know. I know there's nothing we can do if someone's going to be that crazy, but the fence and the shrubs around those basins will provide some deterrent from people just dumping.
Yep. Two topics. Matt, is the engineering department taking a look at the flow calculation, sure that the basin's all?
Yeah, they're doing, so the applicant has filed for a stormwater management permit.
Okay.
With planning board, engineering has started on it,
Okay.
I think.
And then the landscaping plan includes like 25 or 30 different types of trees, but I just picked out 5 and looked them up, and a number of them are non-native species. So we don't want any non-native species used in your landscaping plan.
Okay?
Is that it for right now?
That, just so you know, that's kind of a list to draw from. That's not the species that are intended to be.
Yeah, but we just don't want to see any, we don't want to see.
We'll take all non-natives off the list.
Okay, comments from the audience. Who'd like to speak? Come on up, identify yourself.
Yeah, Robert Smith. I live at 27 Griffin Road, and my house is adjacent to, I guess it would be lot number 6, I guess, that we haven't discussed yet. I think it might be the next thing on the agenda.
Yep.
Yeah. And one of the concerns that I was the one you just brought up, my house, I've lived there for 40 years in that location on Griffin Road. And in the 40 years, I've seen probably 5, 6 cul-de-sacs, probably 200 houses, either on the road or off the chute there. But I've seen no improvements to the infrastructure to that entire section of the town. I know he was talking about bringing water in from Lowell Road and so forth, which would be great for these folks here. And I guess my concern is, geez, no gas, no sewage, no water. And the rest of the residents on Griffin Road and off on the other areas get nothing. That's one concern. My biggest concern is the next lot that you're going to be talking about, and the fact that it's so close to the wetlands. I get deer, foxes, occasionally a coyote, turkeys, had a bear a couple months ago in the backyard. Everything goes through, and they all end up going through that wetland area. And I mean, I'd really hate to see anything that could cause an impact. Okay? And I know what homeowners do. I've had neighbors on my property on a Sunday afternoon that felt like they wanted to cut a tree down. They're on my land cutting trees down. I don't want to be the one to have to go across the street and tell somebody, hey, you're throwing stuff into the wetland area, and he's going to tell me, hey, it's my land, I'll do what the hell I want. And that's exactly what's going to happen. And I can honestly say that I have no confidence whatsoever of anybody in town going out and doing anything about it. Okay, so it's gonna be confrontational, it's gonna be an issue, and I personally don't wanna have to deal with something like that, but if you have raw land with nothing but weeds and water and junk in there, and somebody's got a lawn, they're gonna be throwing their stuff in there, because why not? I mean, I have a little over an acre lot. I have woods on my property. I throw all my leaves on my land. I mulch them up, throw them in there, spread them around. That's what they're gonna do, but they're gonna throw it into the wetlands. I have concerns with that, and you can put a, you can put a hedgerow there, whatever you want, they're gonna be tossing it in there.
Just have to drop a dime. You have to drop a dime, you have to tell us if you know that somebody's throwing something in.
I know.
You know,
I don't wanna be a bad neighbor.
No, you know, like I'm here 52 years, and there were 8,000
Hey,
people.
my grandmother moved here when she was
Well, I
3
could be
years
your
old. My
grandmother.
father grew up here, I grew up here. I lived in town.
But I'm just saying, you know, and you just have to be the enforcer, you have to drop the dime, and then in which case we'll follow through the best we can.
Yeah, well, I'm considering moving out of town after 77 years.
Okay.
Anyway, my biggest concern is gonna be the next lot, which I guess you're gonna discuss.
It's
and
a
I notice
separate,
there's no
separate hearing,
structure
right, yep, it's a separate
located
hearing.
on it. I'm interested in where that's gonna be.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments from the audience? Seeing none, can I have a motion to continue this to our September 22nd meeting at 8:40?
So moved.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? No opposed. Okay, we're moving on to our 7:55, which is a public hearing, George Allen Site Construction, 22 Griffin Road, Lot C, 334-1770.
Under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Westford's non-zoning wetlands bylaw, Chapter 171, the Westford Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 25th, 2021, at 7:55 p.m. in Meeting Room 201 at Town Hall, 55 Main Street, on the notice of intent application of George Allen and Son Construction, Inc., for the demolition of an existing structure and construction of a new house and septic system within 100 feet of a jurisdictional wetland at 22 Griffin Road, Lot C. Yep.
Doug, go
All
ahead.
right, good evening, members of the board. Douglas Duchesne from Finneran and Nicholson, representing George Allen and Son Construction, Inc. And as you know, with me this evening, Steve Dresser from Dresser, Williams and Way, Inc. This lot, which is shown on our full plan, we do show this lot on our subdivision plan only because we wanted the planning board to have a full view of what was going on out here. But this is a standalone lot, as it qualifies it for A&R status. It has the requisite frontage and is a 1.11 acre lot, single-family home lot, and pretty obvious what we've done is push the house up into the westerly corner of the lot so that we could maintain the 50, 75, and 100-foot setbacks from the wetlands. This lot, in meeting those requirements, does have a reasonable certainly a reasonable backyard to it. And the house is, I believe, pushed as close to the front as we can. It's at, what, 64 or 54?
64.
64, but we do need some clearance for the septic system, which is located to the front of the house. Steve, you can go a little bit, but I mean, the topography lines shown on here gives you a good understanding that this lot slopes to the back. And again, pretty straightforward. Certainly have no issues with delineating the offsets. And as you know, we did include a note in this one that no stockpiling of materials within 100 feet of the wetlands, and this is the kind of lot that we would typically include in the sales literature and as a condition in the deed, that we provide the potential buyers and then the ultimate buyer with notice that this lot is subject to a notice of intent, and that there can be no disturbance within that 50-foot zone as marked in the field. And we do what we can to provide notice to the buyers, that they know what they're buying and that they know they shouldn't be going back there. But I mean, we've been doing this for 30 years, and many successful, and people are cognizant, but you're always going to have those few that are going to, and I agree, when we see something like this happening, call the commission and let them know somebody's doing it. And I know there's been letters sent to people providing them notice not to do it, or in extreme cases that they've received a visit. So we try to design them in a way to meet the guidelines and provide notice to the buyers, but it's hard to control people.
So you talked about the notice for potential buyers. Does that also, excuse me, let them know that if they want to do something within the 100-foot, that they have to file for us? For example, if they wanted to add a deck, I think the biggest concern I have with this is if they decide they want to put an addition on or a deck, is there really isn't room for that. And I want to, my concern is that that's not communicated clearly enough to a homeowner for them to realize that they may not be able to do the add-on that they want.
We've, I know that the commission has requested as part of an order that we do provide that notice. And I believe in the past, we've actually drafted the notice for the commission's review. And then we commit to put that in any sales literature, and ultimately to put that notice in the deed. So no one can tell you if they buy this property that they weren't made aware, because it's in their deed. And it provides notice that, any work within the 100 requires, filing, but more so, it provides a notice that they cannot disturb within the 50-foot no disturb zone.
I would add, there would be room for a deck, and probably intended to build a deck, I would assume. So we'll probably add that to the plan, but still respect the 75-foot offset. There would be room for a deck. It's not an addition. It's pretty tight.
The number of three-season porches, the number of bump outs that people have come in wanting to add to their existing house. I look at this, and it translates into all the things that people have come in and said, I like the house, but I'd like it more if I have an X on it. And that's where I'm really, we're going to have to say, in many cases, it may not be feasible. And that's a very difficult position.
They'll be aware from us that
Okay.
that's not something that.
The only other thing I can think of is snow storage, not for this, but for the whole.
Oh, yeah, I didn't
Yeah,
even.
that's the thing you always raise, so I look over at you, I think of snow storage. So do we have snow storage planned for this?
Well, this
Not the, I mean,
one.
as a whole.
You've already continued the public hearing, I'm not sure I'll
Yes.
just.
Yeah, we'll
take a look at that, so.
At the next hearing, we'll go over the snow storage for that.
Yeah, that's fine. Any other questions from the current, Jim?
When you update the plans, the locus is incorrect on this one, the lot C, and the location on both of them still says Bill Ricker. So you correct that when you update the plan.
Geez, sorry about that.
All the roads are in Westford, I understand.
The other one's the cover sheet, the other one. The other page said Westford, but I will make that change.
So I know with this lot was included in the stormwater management permit application with the planning board. Do you have any intention to cut out that section, amend that application for this specific, sectioning off this, as a separate lot, since you are, creating it via an A&R, also, the notice of intent is separate from that's something we can certainly discuss with the land use director.
Yeah, that was a discussion, as you know, at the planning board. In and of itself, as you can tell, with a 1.1 acre lot, which we're disturbing, maybe slightly more than a third, but certainly less than half, this wouldn't require a stormwater permit, standalone permit, because we're not disturbing an acre or more. So we will have that discussion with the board, and if it turns out they're integrated, then all that.
Or just, it may be.
We'll be able to provide that before we meet again on this.
Commission? Okay, comments from the audience on this project? Okay, seeing none, tonight I have a motion to continue this to 8:40 on September 8:50 on September 22nd.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous?
Well, thank you very much for your time.
Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to our APM, which is a public hearing for Gibbons, 53 Elm Road, 334-1772.
Under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, the Westford's non-zoning wetlands bylaw, Chapter 171, the Westford Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 25th, 2021 at 8:05 at Town Hall, 55 Main Street, on a notice of intent application of Gary Polewski for the demolition of an existing house and removal of the abandoned septic system and construction of a new house and a new septic system within 100 feet of Nabnasset Pond on 60 Elm Road. Wait, no? Wrong one?
53 Elm Road.
53.
53, yeah, that's all
You put
right.
them in the wrong order.
Tripping you up, yeah.
That was a trick.
Hey, Mark, it's Matt Allen, Town of Westford. You're on. In the meeting. Yep.
You're on, Mark, just identify yourself for the record.
Okay, this is Mark Slager from Allen Engineering, here on behalf of, which one is this, 53?
Yep.
Elm Road, Bob Gibbons. So, I don't have the WestfordCAT up on the screen because it's about 5 minutes behind in real time. So I was watching the other hearings.
Okay.
Anyway, what we have is a house at 53 Elm Road, and it's an existing two-bedroom home on the east side of Elm Road. The lot has about 88 feet of frontage on Elm Road, which is a 25-foot wide private way with about 16 to 18 feet of pavement. It's a small lot, about 5,300 square feet. And the lot narrows down to approximately 42 feet in the rear, which abuts Nabnasset Lake. Along the rear, there's a small retaining wall, maybe a foot or two high, and then a small area of vegetated wetland between the retaining wall and the lake. That strip is probably somewhere around 2 to 3 feet wide. The entire lot is within a 100-foot buffer zone. And it's also within the 100-year floodplain. So the floodplain elevation for the lake is 171.5 according to FEMA, and nearly the entire lot is below that elevation. So the entire thing right now is within the floodplain. The existing house is essentially a year-round house. I don't know if it's been used year-round, but it is essentially a year-round house. There's a septic tank and system in the front of the house between the house and Elm Road. We actually uncovered when we were doing soil testing for a new septic system. And the front yard the system is essentially in a stump dump with more than just stumps in there. And then also a whole very thick layer of peat before you get down to the natural soil. So the septic system itself is doing very little as far as treatment goes. And then on the right side of the house, as you're facing the house, there's a small paved driveway. The entire lot essentially is maintained as lawn area. There's a few trees in the northwest corner of the lot, and then there's a larger tree down near the lake. I would say it's probably 10 or 15 feet from the lake. Unfortunately, I don't show it on this plan. The house is 36 feet from the lake, and it's also only 7.5 feet from Elm Road. So we have been before the zoning board of appeals with the what we're proposing, and we continued that to the next meeting, pending any input from the commission this evening. If I go over to the proposed, what we're proposing to do is demolish the existing house, remove the existing septic system, remove all of the old stumps, the stump dump and the peat layers, and put in a new 2-bedroom home with a new geomat style leach system for the septic system. The septic tank will be a new 2-compartment, 1,500-gallon tank that's currently required by the Board of Health. There will be a little bit of fill required in the front, so rather than sloping down from the street about a foot, it'll go up maybe 1.5 feet or so by the time you get to the house. And I don't have an elevation view of the house, but basically what it is will be a cellar floor, which is pretty much at grade. We're going to keep that at grade with the street, that is. We're going to keep the cellar floor above the floodplain elevation, and then above that will just be the first floor, which will be the living area with the 2 bedrooms and kitchen and whatnot. There won't be a story above that. There'll be a 2-car garage and paved driveway in front of that, which will provide a total of 4 parking spaces. And down at this end of Elm Road, parking is at a premium, and there's maybe enough room for 2 cars in the existing driveway now, so we're going to double the capacity for this. Given that we have to put the septic system as far away from the lake as possible and then meet as many of the setbacks as possible from the house to the street and or rather the house to the septic system and whatnot, it results in us having to push the house back closer to the lake. It's all in previously disturbed area, which is all lawn area. But again, it doesn't meet the 30-foot setback. Right. We're about 20 feet from the edge of the lake, 21 feet from the edge of the lake, and 20 feet from the edge of the BVW at their closest points. Again, we've been to the ZBA. They've offered some suggestions, and then we're here tonight to get some feedback from the commission, so we have to turn it over to you for any questions.
Would like to go first.
Go for it, I'll go after.
Mark, this is Jim Gazzo. This house seems way oversized for the size of the lot, and the location right up against the lake it's like about a little more than half the distance of what it used to be. The old existing house is 36 feet at its closest point from the lake, and the new proposed house is 20 feet. There's a 20-footer section in there, 19 feet to the deck, 20 foot to the house. Why should we want to consider something so close to the pond?
Not only that, look at the increase in the amount of impervious surface.
Sure.
The proposed house is much larger, so you're increasing that impervious surface and the addition of the garage and the paved parking. So there's a tremendous increase in impervious surface. We're much closer to the resource area.
And I heard last night on the ZBA was asking you about runoff on the property, and you responded to them by telling them that the way it's sloped, it's all the water will not go. I think it was a neighbor's concern with water flowing to the 2 neighbors' sides, but you reassured them that there wouldn't be any water flowing towards them, but you said it was going to be flowing towards the lake. There's no details at all on the bordering buffer that you might propose between the pond and the property. And with all this extra impervious surface, there's going to be an awful lot of runoff, and I don't see anything that handles any runoff.
Yeah, just, I mean, for the record, you know, Eric's been on the commission for, I don't know, 25-plus years. I've been on it for 21. We've done a lot of rehabs up at the lake. And the standard has always been that the house gets no closer to the lake if it's within 30 feet, okay? And that's a standard we've always gone by. So this house, the house is 36 feet. You can do it, you can bring it within 30, up to the 30-foot marker.
For the record,
Yeah.
I'm Dan Doherty here, representing Gibbons as well. This lot presented itself with a lot of challenges, and the biggest one being, how can you upgrade a septic system on a property like this and give them, you know, any kind of housing whatsoever? This is an 1,800 square foot house. This is not a McMansion by any stretch of the...
I only have a 1,400 square foot house, if that. This is, to me, a two-bedroom, 1,800 square foot home is a huge home.
It's not a two-story?
No.
It's a single story. Well, you could go up, put a second story on the house if you need more room.
I think that's the whole idea for this, is that the Gibbons were looking for a retirement-style home. They're looking to, there's only going to be 2 people there. I don't think this is, it's definitely not anything bigger than we've already built. The other 3 houses are already down there.
It isn't, but we've never allowed any
much
rebuild
closer.
from this close to the pond, ever.
And this much impervious surface on this size of a lot?
And Eric, Mark, what's the current impervious surface on the site and what's the proposed?
Yeah.
I don't have those numbers right now.
Okay, because I think, you know, we're going by an impression. I think it will be really stronger if we have the numbers, you know, just in terms of how much the impervious surface is increasing.
That helps.
And you do have other options as far as going up another floor, and while it may not be the most desirable to the applicant, it may be an opportunity for them to get a project that's actually approvable.
If they wanted to make the house wider so that they have more space, they could do that more closer to the road as opposed to the pond.
Well,
see how it could get any wider.
Right.
Well, I think you're gonna have to try to work within what, and, you know, I'm gonna speak in for the whole commission. We've never approved anything within 30 feet that wasn't there before. And we're, you know, no one on this commission is gonna approve this unless it's pulled back to the 30-foot level.
So I think in fairness to that, there's no, this lot doesn't lend itself to the ability to do that without building something with a new septic system. Then we can move it closer to the road and put it where the existing conditions are, and then now we've got a bigger problem because we put the septic system behind it.
Nothing says that the septic system can't be here and you build a smaller house. You just got a very large footprint of a house and paved parking for this garage area. You can put your septic in here and just have a smaller footprint.
The house itself, the first floor of that house is like 1,300 square feet. You know, 500 feet of it is the basement. On a walkout basement. That's not a McMansion on any standard. And I get it,
It's too large of a structure for this lot. It would not be, I don't think anyone on this commission would approve this as currently proposed.
I went down there today, and that house seems like it would be comfortable for 2 people to live in, the size that it is currently.
I think we've given them enough feedback that I think they need to take this back
Look at it again.
and take another look at it.
Yeah, I think you've,
I don't know what more we can
you've heard
provide.
what we got to say.
Well, the other thing we could do is see how much flexibility we can get with the Board of Health regulations as well, because if we can slide the house forward and encroach within the setbacks from the leach field to the septic system, or to the house rather, then we might be able to pull it forward. But I had to maintain the setbacks to the extent that we could. Again, this is a geomat system which allows a 40% reduction in the area of the leach area needed. And given that it's 2 bedrooms, I can't size it any smaller. So a smaller footprint wouldn't really result in a smaller septic system because it's all based on the number of bedrooms.
What about the garage?
Like I said,
But that's not, yeah.
Other technologies.
it's not going to change our minimum setback. The setback is 30 feet. You have to come in here with a plan that shows that this house is 30 feet from the lake. And that's the bottom line with us. You try to figure it out. It's not our job to figure this out. Our setback is 30 feet for the lake. And we've always maintained that distance on all these rehabs up there, unless the original house was closer, then we allowed the house to be built on the current footprint.
But no closer.
But no closer.
I guess the way I'd speak to that is, the other ones had the benefit of being even much closer than this final product's gonna be. The other three houses that were built there.
We don't disagree.
We wouldn't agree with those.
There are things that are grandfathered all the time that we wish weren't built the way they were, but we can't do anything about
Right,
that. But
that's
going
what-
forward, we don't need to make the same mistakes.
This whole area is not developed the way it should have been developed with environmental things in mind. But you have to deal with what you have there, and
And we are, and that's why we're trying to keep
we're
the
maintaining
setbacks the way
something.
we're
I
doing.
can't, they're not gonna, no one's gonna be happy in a house that's 15 feet wide. It's like, that's not, I have to deal with the, this isn't the only board, we also have to deal with the Board of Health. Board of Health trumps us, all day long.
I think Mark was saying he may be able to slide this building further away from the lake. He has to see if he can be able to get that accommodation from the ZBA, so I think that would be the direction we would send Mark. We're trying to push this away from the lake, and if they can, ZBA can provide an accommodation to the setback to the septic, well, maybe there's some relief there, so let's see. Were you saying that, Mark?
Yeah,
Okay.
Okay.
yeah, I'll check with the Board of Health and see if I can, relocate the house and move everything a little closer to the street. This particular leach field requires a 5-foot buffer zone all around it, but there may be some alternatives with that too. So I'll take a look, I'll meet with the Board of Health when I get back next week, and, or the health agent rather, and run a few ideas by her, and see what we can do to move the house forward.
Maybe
The
consider
only issue
not
I have
having a
with that
garage.
though is when you move the house forward, you lose the parking in front of the garage. It's less impervious, and I know the commission isn't as concerned with the parking as the neighbors are, but it's just one of the other issues.
No, I get it, but in the trade-offs between the resource area and the parking, I'll trade the parking for, any day. And
I'm sure that would be a unanimous decision with the.
yeah, I'm sure.
Do you need the garage? I have
Okay,
the
any
garage.
comments on this application from the audience before we continue it?
Hi, my name is Brian McNeil. My mother lives at 51 Elm. We're concerned about the rain runoff. They're proposing a retaining wall that will make my mother's property a bathtub. And
This retaining wall here?
yes,
Okay.
my mother's house will become a bathtub. Every year, the town comes down and fills the potholes on Lowell Road. And every year, when I was a kid, my mother's property was level with the street. Every year, the town fills the potholes. Now my mother's house is a foot below the street. So the water comes down the hill, fills my mother's yard.
They've done the same thing with mine. I'm right there with you. I know what happens. It goes into the yard.
Yes, and now they're gonna put a retaining wall on the other side of my mother's house and make her yard a bathtub. She's gonna need waiters to get to her house, if this house is approved. There's way too much square footage of the roof. The water is gonna come off that thing and fill my mother's yard.
The reason for the retaining wall is exactly that doesn't happen.
My mother's house is still gonna be lower.
You're
You're
right, it
making
is.
my
and
mother's
house is
the
gonna be lower.
lowest
Nothing I
house
can
in
do
that
about that. It's the
neighborhood.
bottom of the hill.
Yes.
Were you planning any type of infiltration?
Yeah, we would have it all on the driveway side of it. We can ramp it all around.
I'm thinking like rooftop drainage. Like,
Infiltrators.
yep.
Sure.
Okay.
Okay,
Keep that
great,
in
thank
mind.
you. Any other comments from the audience? Okay, We're going to continue this to our September 22nd meeting at...
Can I make a statement?
Yeah, you can.
Yeah.
Just identify yourself.
Yeah, my name is Bob Gibbons, and I'm the owner of 53 Elm Road. And my wife Midge and I have lived here in Westford for 27 years. And been paying property taxes in this town for a long time, abiding by all of the rules and regulations. And one thing we certainly don't want to do is upset the apple cart for Barbara or her family or anyone else. We love Westford, and we want to be in Westford. And the house that Dan is proposing here, and that Mark has engineered, it's 40 by 40, and it's a one-floor house, you know, with 2 bedrooms. There's a finished basement because my wife quilts, and you know, she does extensive work down there, and she's got a couple of machines and, you know, that kind of thing. But it's really one-floor living, and it's a non-conforming use now. Now, I understand the 30-foot setback, Peter. I mean, I do understand that. But the improvements being made to the environment by the building of this house, I would think would outweigh that. But you guys are the experts. We want to do something that conforms to, you know, the best use of that land. But in no way do we want to upset the environment. We're committed environmentalists. But this is not, you know, a huge house by any means. And, you know, we love Westford. We want to, you know, reset our roots here again. And, you know, our kids went through the Westford public school systems. We love this town. And we just want to build a small house. And, you know, we will continue to work with you and with other boards, but I just want you to know that we're not trying to come in and do
We get that.
something crazy,
We
you
understand.
know? So I just wanted to, you know, put a face to the, to the project.
And I'm sure we can come to a point where we'll be able to come to an agreement. We're just not there yet.
Yeah,
And it might look a
You
little
know.
different.
I understood, I understand. I just wanted you to put a face with the project and understand that I love this town and want to be here.
Okay,
Okay.
that's great. Okay, so can we have a motion to continue this to 9 o'clock on September 22nd?
So moved.
All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed? Unanimous. Thank you. Okay, we're going to move on to our 805, public hearing, Polanski,
60 Elm?
60 Elm Road, 234-1771. I know I butchered that name. Polanski?
Under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Westford's non-zoning wetlands bylaw, Chapter 171, the Westford Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 25th, 2021, at 8:05 p.m. in Meeting Room 201 at Town Hall, 55 Main Street, on the notice of intent application of Gary Halefsky for the demolition of an existing house and removal of the abandoned septic system and construction of a new house and new septic system within 100 feet of Nabnasset Lake at 60 Elm Road.
Okay, I'm still here.
Yep, go ahead, Mark.
Yeah. We're looking at the plans right now.
All right, good evening again, Mark Slager from Allen Engineering, and I would like to also thank the commission for allowing me to participate in the meeting in this manner. I know it's strange times that we live in, but we've got to, you know, all do the best we can. This is, again, this is an existing lot down at the very end of Elm Road, at the northwest end of Elm Road. It's an existing 3-bedroom home, and you may recall that we were before the commission back in 2017 to convert a portion of the existing deck in the back to a 3-season screen porch with a roof, and reconstructed on sonotubes and whatnot. None of that work has ever been started, and as part of this process, I will also be submitting a certificate of compliance, basically stating that the NOI has expired and none of the work was performed.
Thank you.
So that should be a fairly simple certificate of compliance. Again, this is an existing 3-bedroom home. It's a year-round home. There's a gravel and paved driveway in the front of the house, a little brick walkway, a wraparound deck on the back, and then some patios that abut the lake, and a wood ramp and some wood steps that go down into the lake. Most of the lake is bounded by the lot by a retaining wall. And there's also a portion of the floodplain for Nasset Lake that extends onto the property as well. The northwest corner of the existing house is actually in the floodplain itself. Similar to the last one, we are proposing to demolish the existing house and construct a new 3-bedroom home in essentially the same location. If you look at the existing house, it's approximately 23 feet from the edge of the lake for the house itself, and then the deck is 10 feet from the lake. And again, that deck was, the commission had approved a screen porch for that deck a few years ago. Looking at the proposed, we do have a deck area on the back that's about 11 feet from the edge of the pond, and we also have the main part of the house, and then over right where it says lot 14, that shaded area, that's actually a screen porch as well, which is going to be 10 feet from the edge of the lake, as was currently existing, and then you'll have the main part of the house itself. So that screen porch will be similar to what was approved previously, which would be just a porch with a roof and some screens all built on sonotubes, so it won't be part of the main foundation. The house will have a one-car garage in the front with a driveway, paved driveway, and then there'll be a proposed gravel driveway adjacent to that for some additional overflow parking. We're proposing a new septic system, which would be in the very front, which is the southeast corner of the lot, in front of the front porch. It's a long, narrow Presby Environ septic system leach area with a new 2-compartment, 1,500-gallon septic tank. The house is currently on town water. Town water exists on the street, so we have that to go with it. Essentially, the entire lot has been maintained with lawn area. There are several trees, fairly mature trees. Some of them are actually not in very good shape, with some of the splitting and some rot down the middle of them. Those are the ones that would be taken out. So we'd be taking a couple trees out for the septic system, and then probably 2 or 3 trees for the house itself. We pulled the main part of the house back from the lake a little bit. We've actually pulled it outside the floodplain. So we'll actually be improving the floodplain by removing the house, lowering the area in that section, so it would actually be gaining a little bit of storage. Let's see, I have a detail of the deck support that shows the requirements for the deck supports, and which would also be for the sonotubes. But those deck supports that might occur within the floodplain, it's just a little bit of protection to make sure that the floodplain doesn't impact the supports for the deck. The existing patios in the back and the retaining walls also all remain intact. So basically, that's currently what we're proposing, and turn it over to the commission to answer any questions.
So the main foundation is still 23 feet or greater? You don't have a line to it, so I can't tell what it is.
Looks closer.
Yeah, I don't have a line to that, but it's pretty much the same as what it was. I don't have the exact numbers, but I'll double check that to make sure it's no closer than 23 feet.
Yeah.
And Mark, this is Margaret Wheeler. What's the current impervious surface on the lot today, and what is the proposed impervious surface?
I do not have those numbers, but I will get them to you for the next meeting.
Okay.
So I guess my comment would be this additional covered porch area is again something we probably would not allow. I mean, this earlier deck that was probably allowed was probably pre-existing and why we continue to leave it there. But to continue to allow this covered deck when it's not there to be built within 10 feet of the lake is probably something we wouldn't do.
Expansion, in effect, expansion of the porch and the deck.
Yeah. Because we had the existing one, and I can see, you know, I can see where the new one comes right here, but I believe that's kind of where the house kicks out to. So the corner of this is there, so all of this would be new, because that's where this 30-foot oak is. Or 30-inch oak, I'm sorry.
If I may,
Yeah.
Gary Pilevsky, the homeowner, just for Mark's sake, because he can't see where you're pointing.
Right, yeah.
Mark, they're referencing the new,
deck.
the screen porch with the covering is what was previously approved by the committee the last go-around, so.
No, this wasn't.
Well, Gary, if I may, the screen porch that was approved is on the right-hand side of the house where the existing deck is.
Right.
And what they're saying is that the new screen porch is further over to the right.
Correct.
So it's not in the same location.
It's not in the same,
Approved.
yeah.
It is the same distance from the pond that was previously approved, but it's not the same location.
Right.
So that's what I understand the commission to be saying.
Yeah,
that's what I'm
It's
saying.
an expansion of this, an expansion of disturbance within the 30-foot no disturb.
Yeah, it'd be nice if you could pull that back along the side of the house and get it away, farther away.
And that's the only thing that I can see where he's adding an additional encroachment, other than, like you said, you want to know if he's encroaching any more than what currently exists
Yeah,
here.
exactly.
And Mark said he would provide that.
Yep. Okay. The other thing we're gonna need is, you know, where all this drainage is going, Mark.
Okay.
Okay? The roof line and, you know, you got drip edge, what are you gonna have? So, you know, we need to be concerned about that. Any other questions from the commission on this?
My only other question, and Mark, this is Margaret again, is it looks like you've added a retaining wall along the property line of the adjacent property, and I'm assuming that's because of the change of elevation on the site?
Yeah, that's because of the septic system
Septic, yeah.
that's right adjacent to the leach area.
Okay.
So there's a little bit of a increase in elevation there. So we're just trying to make up the difference between the two lots. It's only about a foot or so high, 1.5 feet high.
Okay.
But we don't have the ability to grade onto the other property, so we have to put in a small wall.
Okay. Well, that's what happens when you're looking at a two-dimensional plan.
That it from the commission? Comments from the audience on this application? Okay, seeing none, we'll continue this to our September 22nd meeting at 9:10.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Unanimous? Okay, you're good to go.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Thank you, Mark.
Yep.
Thank you, Mark.
Okay, we're moving on to our 8:10, which is a continuation of public hearing and issue order of conditions for Wilzinski, 28 Bryan Ave, 234-1773. We got a file number.
We got a file number late today.
Close it.
1773. So those playing along at home.
1773.
Okay, so have you seen the order of conditions?
Yes, we have.
Good with them?
Yes, we are. There was, we agree with all of them, except there was one on here, order of conditions number 38.
38, yep.
Which was the clover-based seed mix. And I had sent an email to Mr. Salem, and he forwarded it to the rest. And we were proposing a low-water type of seed as opposed to clover.
I know, and the issue with that is we don't want grass. We don't, the issue isn't low water. It's, you know, providing a ground cover. It's just not because one grass uses more water than another type. We're actually trying to provide a ground cover instead of grass.
More of a habitat, really.
Exactly.
And the grasses that you're talking about are non-native. anyway, those are drought resistant, those are from like Kentucky and.
I'm sorry?
Those are, not native grasses, the ones that.
What's a native grass?
Something that's indigenous to this
Yeah.
area of the
What would
country.
that be?
Kentucky bluegrass sounds like it's from Kentucky.
Kentucky, yeah.
No, but we're not talking grass at all.
We're not talking grass.
Yeah, we don't want grass. We want an indigenous ground cover.
And Eric, I think we're, because we're talking about stabilizing the site now, we're
Exactly.
talking about the interim. My understanding is this conversation is not about what the lawn will look like when they come in with a plan to put a house there.
Right.
Correct.
So this is just
Correct.
turning the site over, improving the soil, no maintenance, just kind of keeping it stable till you've got your final plans.
Correct.
Yeah. The clover could work in between.
Well, they didn't like the look of clover, so it's something else, but it can't be grass.
Well, maybe they can work it out with Matt.
I was looking up other native species that are low growing, and bearberry is one.
Is that a grass?
No, it's not.
No.
No.
We don't want
Yeah, we don't want
But
grass.
We don't want it irrigated, we don't want it mowed, it's to stabilize the site while you're working on your plans.
So it just lives there.
And I understand the principle associated with this. Why is this different than all of the other pieces of property around the lake that have lawns?
First of all,
Maybe they didn't.
the folks that, and it really depends when these homes were built.
Right.
A lot of these homes are built and folks weren't thinking about buffers to resource areas, and they grassed right up to the water's edge. And then as, folks have become smarter and more aware, we realize that you really do need to provide protective buffers to the resource area, even in areas around the lake, to help minimize fertilizers and other things getting into the lake and the algal blooms and growth that occur from over-fertilizing and, too much maintenance in regards to the lawns on property. So, yeah, we would prefer not to see so much lawn.
Yeah.
And in fact, we try to provide education to the citizens and let them know why it's not the best thing. It certainly provides no health benefit to the resource area in that, like the little critters and animals who live in that transitional habitat. Grass provides no benefit to them.
Well,
Also, another thing that we had talked about when we ran into each other was the first time we met, you were putting Roundup on your lawn.
I did not say Roundup. I
And
was doing a
it was,
herbicide
it's a-
treatment to deal with a particular
So I would like to
weed.
see on number 30, along with the fertilizers and pesticides, also adding in herbicides there, so that we're not poisoning the plants around the water.
Didn't you make that out of?
It was a
It's a Roundup
herbicide.
product. It's a product made by Roundup. So, and
Did you
it
ever
just
hear
really
nut edge
shouldn't
grass?
be.
Nut edge grass grows at a more rapid rate than regular grass, and nut edge can be treated with a herbicide. And that was, as you were out there paddling around, you asked me what I was putting down. I says I was treating the nut edge grass, which grows at like twice the rate as regular grass grows. So therefore, you get this stuff coming up and this stuff staying down. So you treat it with this herbicide to kill off the nut edge, to allow your lawn to grow at an even rate. We will provide clover mix as required within your
And
order
there
of
are
conditions.
animals that eat those plants and so on and so forth.
We will do that.
okay.
Thank you.
But clover attracts bees.
We want bees.
Can I have an allergy to bees like I do?
He has an allergy.
I swell up when I get a bee bite. We will provide clover. If that's 50% mix, 25%, what percentage mix would you like?
Can you work that out with Matt?
Yeah.
I would ultimately come back to you guys for what's a 50-50 clover lawn mix.
And I think one of the things that would be interesting is, for the part that's not clover, what is it? You know, because I think what we want is we want stuff that will take up the nutrients. We want something that will slow the running of water down to the lake if there's water coming down off the street, stuff like that. So I think some of it is, what's the other part besides, if some of it's clover and some of it, the rest of it's something else, what is the something else?
We're removing 25 to 50 feet of asphalt. That is, water is flowing out. We're going to remove that as a consolation to help with the situation.
So I get that. So you don't want the clover, we don't want the grass, so we need to find a ground cover that we can agree upon.
Correct.
And
And tell me what it is and we'll do it.
Yeah, I'm not,
100% clover, or is it?
no, I'm saying if you don't want clover, let's find another ground cover that's not clover.
And is there a resource where,
He can look it up.
is there a resource that will give us what the options are? You know, because it's not a question of we can say, okay, well, you don't want clover, here's the next thing. Yeah, is there some place?
Well,
I do not want this to put off to another evening.
And we're not.
No, we're not doing that.
We're looking for a way to find it
So
container.
we'll let Matt do a little research, okay? And we'll just reword this to say that the ground cover will be approved by the
Fine, and it doesn't
conservation
have to be tonight, and this still
planner.
be.
Okay, thank you.
but we, will okay, thank you.
Yeah.
Okay?
We want to knock this house down.
Yeah, I know you do.
Oh, yeah, I get it. You can't build until you take it down.
I know.
Yeah, I hear you, you know? You can't
Okay,
put
so-
the cart before the horse.
It's a mess.
Can we amend this to put that wording in so the ground
So
cover
moved.
will be approved by the conservation planner?
Right.
Okay,
A
that
second?
make sense?
Second.
Okay. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay. We're
Just have a
good.
teeny typo. I should have said Matt. Matt, on page 10A, under findings, the fourth red line, the fourth paragraph, the commission finds that the existing subsurface, blah, blah, blah. Second line, cap with the intention to be reused. Just put in the word be.
Thank you.
Just a typo.
Okay, thank you.
I think she.
The old teacher is just giving you a heart attack.
So, motion to close the public hearing.
Second.
All in favor? Aye. Opposed? Okay, you're good to go. Work with Matt. He may, come back to me before final approval. We'll figure something out on that ground cover, okay?
Thank you all.
Thank you.
Have a good night.
You too.
True.
Okay, we're going to move on to our 8:15, which is the continuation of a public hearing and issue order of conditions for Eagles Hope candidate Masani and for the Abbott Trail Footbridge, 334-1768. Come on up. So you read the order of conditions?
Yeah, I did.
Any questions?
No, not really.
Not really? You going to be good with them?
Yeah, they all look, well, they're all reasonable.
Okay. Okay. I mean, if
That's
you
half
have
the
any
battle.
questions, you can just, this guy here will, he'll take care of it, okay? Good. Motion approved. So,
Second.
all in favor? Aye. Opposed? It's unanimous. Motion to close the public hearing. All in favor? Aye. Opposed? None. You're good
That's
to
it.
go.
You're all set.
Congratulations.
All that time for that, you know?
Okay, we're going to move on to our 8:20 PM, which is a public hearing for Stokes, 25 Waterview Drive. This is an IDA.
Under Massachusetts General Laws, Chapter 131, Section 40, the Wetlands Protection Act, and Westford's non-zoning wetlands bylaw, Chapter 171, the Westford Conservation Commission will hold a public hearing on Wednesday, August 25th, 2021, at 8:50 PM in Meeting Room 201 at Town Hall, 55 Main Street, on the request for determination of applicability application for Diane Stokes for the construction of a walkway and paver patio within 100 feet of long sought-for pond at 25 Waterview Drive.
Hello.
Hello.
Welcome.
Thank you. I'm Carrie Stokes, Diane Stokes' husband. She had unexpected grandson duty tonight, so.
Okay.
Oh, that's fine.
Yeah. Yes. So we'd like to put a patio and a walkway on our cottage at Summer Village.
So is this on common land? Is this your own private use?
This is
portion?
our exclusive use area, yes.
Okay.
I did receive a letter late today from the Board of Trustees. They approved it at their meeting, I think it was the end of July, you went before them. But they're only, at that time, they didn't approve the fire pit as they're developing their own regulations for how, so, I mean, in terms of how we're viewing it, I think, you know.
Should we skip the pit for now?
Well, I mean, I think we can, I feel the commission can approve it as it's, I mean.
I don't think we'd be thrilled with the pit, you know, maybe the walkways.
And they did update our owner's manual rules, and they are not allowing permanent pits anymore, so
Yeah.
there will be no pit.
That's simple enough.
The pictures you sent, or that were included in the filing, were helpful, but a lot of the pictures showed very tall pine trees with roots, and there were no trees reflected on the plan. So my concern is there going to be construction activity near these trees? Is there possibly going to be damage to their root structures just from the passage of, you know, with what's happening? Because the location of the trees is not on the plan, so I can't really judge whether this is something we need to think about.
What, that this patio's gonna somehow impact the root system of a tree, or in getting material there, or?
In just, I don't know how close the walkway or the patio will be to the trees. I don't know if the work involved in installing the patio, any excavation, anything that's done will potentially impact the trees or their root structure. Thinking back to last May.
And, Bob, so if you come, I can say, if you come around the other side of the house, that you, to the left of the picture here, if you bring everything into there, there are no trees between the two cottages there. So there's a clear path to come in without the trees.
So the walkway's gonna go past this tree that's kind of in the middle of the picture?
The walkway will go past that tree near
How,
house.
well, what will be the distance between the edge of the
I
walkway?
think he's right there. I think that tree is right about there.
Would you like me to get the plan, go out, meet with the unit owner, and get that located on the plan, you know, upon
I think that would be
issuance-
helpful
for
because,
issuance of the.
yeah, just so that we know how close it is and you know, the last thing we want to do is have something happen to that tree.
And yes, from lots of, after our big storm last time, a tree, yeah, we don't want to upset any root structures. We want those roots in good.
Yeah, and it just, that was,
Well, you've had enough trees come down over there as well as I do, because I'm across the street from you guys, so.
That was scary, no doubt.
yeah, and it was just, you know, just in terms of where's the work in relation to the trees.
Okay.
So we're going to continue this?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, this is something that's gonna happen, we just need a little more info.
So Matt, now we'll come out
We'll get those located on the plan.
and we'll approve it at our next meeting. Okay.
Yep.
Okay.
So, they're coming up with their own fire pit, the HOA is, the association?
Yeah, well, all I know is, yes, I was told they were revising the rules, and then when I was getting ready for this, I pulled up the latest manual, and the manual says no permanent fire pits, so.
They just want temporary fire, yeah, on top of the ground.
Which, you know,
You live in a place that could go up like a tinder box.
Yes.
You know that.
And we're old, and we go to bed early, and my wife gets bit by the bug, so we don't really have
Okay.
fires.
We don't get hydrants in the street or anything like that, you know?
Yep.
Okay, so can I have a motion to continue this to 9:20 on September 22nd?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye. I'm
Opposed?
not gonna
It's
be at that
unanimous?
meeting.
Okay, great,
It's gonna be a
thank you.
busy
Thank you.
So Peter, I'm not gonna be at that meeting on the 22nd.
Okay,
Yeah,
where are you gonna be?
anniversary.
Oh, congratulations. Yeah, very nice.
Started?
32.
32, wow, that's
One
great.
of the big symptoms was loss of appetite.
Okay, what, one more
Go to a restaurant, I
thing.
said, I
Yeah,
don't think so.
okay, yeah. Okay, two more things. We got the Clean Energy and Sustainability Committee resolution. Just wanted to...
Well, who are you here for? Yeah, we've got somebody here.
Right here.
Come on, yeah.
Made it to the end, I mean.
Well, next one.
Yeah, next.
So that's perfect. I am Sue Thomas. I sit on the Clean Energy and Sustainability Committee, and I just wanted to introduce myself. This has been fascinating. You guys do a lot of work in a lot of areas, and our committee now sort of overlaps with you, so we want to be able to collaborate with you and support your work and help with some of the educational challenges that you have with regard to carbon storage and other areas where we want the town to support clean water, clean air, and a better climate for everyone. So the charge of the Energy Committee evolved over the last year with the resolution made at town meeting to try to move toward net zero by 2050. And we understand that that can't be done just by emissions reduction, but also by sequestration. And a lot of the work that you do impacts carbon sequestration, as you've been discussing all evening. So I just wanted, I sent you a whole bunch of email. I apologize for perhaps too much email. But I'm looking for ways, and the committee is looking for ways to try to work with all of you to achieve all of our goals in town. So,
Excellent.
thank you.
Okay, great, thank you.
I was reached out to by the property owners at 54 Elm Road. They were previously before the commission last year for the location of a pre-existing shed on the property which was too close to the lake. They were requesting a couple commissioners come out for a site visit to see. They received a quote to move the shed. They thought it was quite expensive for the cost of the shed. They're just, they want a couple,
That we asked to be moved
Yeah.
Yeah, we did, yeah.
about a year ago or whatever, or?
I was just down there today and noticed that it hadn't.
Nothing's happened?
No.
And they're looking for a couple commissioners to come by for a site visit, and, you know, put brains together to see potential path forward.
Why? You know, I thought we had deliberated and really worked pretty hard at coming to the determination that we did. I'm not quite sure how a site visit is gonna
Documented.
add anything further to that.
I agree.
Other than somebody asking us again to provide accommodation. And we've already had that request.
Any other comments?
I concur with that. We documented what we needed to have done in the order of conditions. If there's something extenuating or new information that we didn't know about, they can let us know. But going to look at it, it's going to look just the same as it did before.
Okay.
Thank you.
All right. Site visit. You know, if they didn't like this, they should have, they could have appealed that decision that we made right away. So that's my only thought. Okay. Is that it? Anything else that we gotta do? Okay. Motion to adjourn then.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Unanimous.
Yeah, I think so.
Okay.